Recently, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya, or let me say the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya, has been put under scrutiny by different lawyers and senior members of the judiciary in our country. And when I say this, I mean the recent attacks and claims that have been raised by different personalities in our country, including lawyers, senior counsels, who have claimed that the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya is one of the most incompetent and uh, one of the most corrupt in Africa recently. Now, these allegations and the nicknaming of the judiciary as jury spessa by one senior counsel, Ahmednassir, has been the talk of the town. Not only that, also a letter that was drafted by one lawyer and advocate of the Law Society of Kenya, that is Professor P.L. Lumumba, who wrote to the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya a letter requesting the audience of the Chief Justice so that he would discuss the way forward for the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya, mostly the Supreme Court, which has been termed as incompetent. Remember, these claims all started after the impeachment of Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, where when the case was brought against Rigathi Gachagua, a lot of Kenyans and a lot of lawyers in the country claimed that Rigathi Gachagua he has no bargaining power, since even the judiciary is currently in bed with the executive, which makes this country so incompetent that the rule of law and the democracy that we have all been singing about for several years and beating our chest that we are a democratic country is disregarded. Now, let me get down to the story currently. Nelson Havi, the former LSK, Law Society of Kenya president, has written a letter requesting the step down of some of the judges from the Supreme Court. Not only that, he has also called upon the resignation of the current Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, CJ Koome. Why is the Supreme Court of Kenya between a rock and a hard place? And why is Nelson Havi together with senior counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi gunning for Mother Koome? Something was bound to give. It eventually did on Thursday, January 18th, when the Supreme Court of Kenya bench declared that henceforth, senior counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi, popularly known to many as Grand Mullah, shall have no audience before it. Since no timeline was indicated, the communication meant that Mr. Abdullahi, nicknamed Supreme Goat by Kenyans on social media, was barred from representing himself or his clients indefinitely. Now, it is the decision of this court, the 7 judges said in a letter signed by Supreme Court Registrar L.M. Wachira, that henceforth and from the date of this communication you shall have no audience before the court, ends either by yourself through an employee of your law firm or any other person holding brief for you or acting pursuant to your instructions. This was a far-reaching declaration that read correctly sought to curtail the controversial lawyer's right to freedom of expression and to earn a living from his work as an officer of the court. In Kenya's history, the only other famous case of a lawyer locked out by a judge involved Mother Karua, who was once blocked from appearing before the High Court during President Daniel Arap Moi's administration. She had been found guilty of contempt of court after she and other members of the Law Society of Kenya LSK had been prohibited from taking part in politics by a judge. Ms. Karua and her colleagues assumed that such an order was unenforceable and continued to criticize the Moi administration. However, she was barred from practicing after she She was barred from practicing after she was accused of failing to apologize to the court. Now, the ensuing standoff left the judiciary an egg on on its face, and the court had to find a surreptitious way to walk back on the ignominious decision. Ahmednassir was currently invited by CJ Mother Koome to release the jury special files so that they will have a team of officers investigate the judges that were claimed to be corrupt. Now, Mr. Abdullahi has been vocal and has been a vocal critic of the Supreme Court, particularly its President, Chief Justice Mother Koome, whom he has consistently accused of failing to act against corruption. And I quote him, "How I wish, pray, CJ Mother Koome knows her staff. She doesn't need chai, tea, and mandazi snacks with His Excellency William Ruto at State House," he wrote in one of his more recent posts on X, the social media platform. And he continues, "She just needs to clean the judiciary of corrupt and incompetent judges." Simple. I was responding to a headline in the People Daily which reported that CJ as having protested that President William Ruto had blocked avenues for dialogue between the judiciary and the executive in the wake of the president's consistent lamentation about corruption in the judiciary. Indeed, it was the president who, in the first week of January, fired the first salvo against the judiciary, saying in so many words that it was acting at the behest of influential personalities with vested interest in multi-billion shilling government projects and programs. Now, according to him, these individuals were using courts to stop programs such as the Affordable Housing Scheme and Universal Health Coverage (UHC). The Court of Appeal, incidentally, was scheduled to rule on the health plan on January 19, the date of the publication, about the said story. And as you can see, though the judiciary has been called out several times, when President William Ruto went against it and started firing salvos towards the judiciary, now the judiciary fell into President William Ruto's knees and they started worshipping him, where they are not independent anymore as the judiciary is supposed to be, but adheres to everything that the president says. And that is why a lot of things have been brought forward by Senior Counsel Nelson Havi requesting the banning of the resignation of CJ Mother Koome as the president of the judiciary. Now, getting back to Nelson Havi. Nelson Havi has several times been quoted fighting Mother Koome, and now this fight seems to be so personal that Mother Koome had to respond. And when Mother Koome called for an audience with Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi, he refused. Now, as of today, which was on Friday, Nelson Havi, the former LCK president, sought the removal of High Court Judge Alfred Mabeya over misconduct. And that was just the start of having the whole bench of judges in the judiciary, mostly in High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, being disbanded. The former Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Havi filed a formal complaint with the Judicial Service Commission (JSC) requesting the removal of Justice Alfred Mabeya from his position as a High Court judge. In a detailed affidavit submitted on Friday, Havi argued that Mabeya's actions reflect gross misconduct and incompetence, demanding a tribunal to investigate the matter and recommend its dismissal to the president. Now, Havi's move follows years of frustration with the judiciary's failure to hold judges accountable for clear legal violation. He has called on the JSC to distinguish between judicial independence and blatant disregard for binding legal precedents. Havi also criticized the JSC for excusing judicial misbehavior under the pretext of protecting judicial independence. This is not the first time Havi has taken action against a judge. In 2016, his complaint led to the removal of Justice Joseph Mbalo Mutava from the bench. Havi says that he is prepared to face similar backlash again, just as he did after his previous effort, citing legal precedents such as Rec Motor Entrepreneurs versus the Commissioner of Lands and Gitwani Investment Limited versus Tajmol Limited. Having noted that any ruling contrary to these established principles would be grounds for removal from office. He further called on other lawyers and litigants who have faced similar misconduct to step forward with their evidence, offering to assist them in pursuing complaints to the JSC. Having concluded his statement by arguing the JSC to act swiftly, warning that failure to do so would prompt a petition to the National Assembly to remove all commissioners in the Judicial Service Commission. Now, this tells you that currently the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya is crumbling down. CJ Martha Koome has become one of the most criticized Chief Justice of our time. And this is or seems to be the final nail on a coffin, that she might actually decide, you know what, it's about time I step down and exit from the judiciary and allow somebody else to be elected to run the judiciary as its president. These lawyers, Nelson Havi together with senior counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi, have quoted on how former CJ Willy Mutunga and former CJ David Maraga ran the judiciary independently without being controlled by the executive. That is during the Uhuru Kenyatta regime. Now, he wants the same to happen. They want the same to happen during this regime of President William Ruto, where they say the judiciary is incompetent, is what has made the executive to view Kenyans as fools and take Kenyans for granted because a lot of projects or a lot of things and programs that are brought up by the executive are passed by the judiciary and are made legal by the judiciary on basis that the executive is intimidating the judiciary. What is your take on this? Should CJ Martha Koome resign? Leave your comment on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to Kenya Daily Report TV. Subscribe. See you in our next